Welcome to Shays Spiritual Insights. I'm so glad everyone is here. It's February of 2023. Wow, this is wonderful. And I'm watching Franny here, and it feels like we're watching her. It's like the room is spinning here. So, anyway, wow, what a day. And I don't have a lot to share other than I have noticed, and the word that came to mind with all the energies that are happening, with the incoming energies that are pouring in, the spiritual ones for each of us, plus the soul group, and the interaction that's happening in the world. It's like a cacophony of all these different threads of energies happening. Some are really uplifting and powerful, some have, discordant, some are in between, and just a variety of different types of energies, as well as whether they're, positive, kind of middle, or discordant, all kind of happening right now. So I don't know if anyone else has noticed that, but if you're feeling kind of like things are odd or strange, that's part of the reason, is because all these different energies coming in. And for most of us, we're really sensitive, so we notice these things. And I just thought I'd bring it up and see what others think. So with that, any thoughts? I guess I'll start with Pat. Anything to share on that, on what I just talked about, or just anything you have questions, or both? Love to hear from you.
Okay, I'm going to just talk about the comet a little bit, and a few things that I've gleaned from this whole. I had this burning desire to see the comet. And so one night last week when I went to bed, I dreamed about the comet. And in the dream, I looked up in the sky and I saw a green frog that was a part of a puzzle. And the pieces around the frog were tan, and the frog was in puzzle pieces too. So I'm not going to go with the rest of the dream, but I will tell you what I found in my dream book and the native book, and then just two other people that I've seen online, which was pretty cool. So the meaning of comet is powerful unleashing of energy, which causes growth among the populace, heralding of self-growth, tremendous creative potential, great success, awakening of self and others. The color green for the frog, growth, healing, expansiveness, and creativity. The frog itself, cleansing and growth. And then just on a fluke, I had an opportunity to hear this lady from South Africa, who's, I would say, kind of like you, Jeff, in her, what she does. Mm-hmm. And she said that the comet is encoded. It has the keys and codes. She said 7th to 12th dimensions or higher from Mu, Lemuria. When the star comes in, the new changes are fully there. And then she was referring to the comet being blue and green. It's mostly green, but it has some blue, and the pictures I've seen look like that. And she said her guidance has told her that's part of the Hopi prophecies. And there's great changes that are happening and going to happen. And then I heard another person of that category. The comet will bring up the incoherence. It shatters the dense and discordant thought forms and negative patterns from humanity's past that are still pulsating in the psychic and astral realms surrounding Earth. These thought forms are then pushed to the surface to be healed. The comet will be able to shatter more of the thought forms and patterns from our obsolete and distorted human miscreations than we have previously experienced. The grossly mutated electronic light substance from these shattered miscreations will be easily transmuted back into light with the violet flame. So then I was curious, Jeff, if your guidance is like right now talking to you, to add to that or subtract or whatever.
No, I think that's what you got was for you, and it's talking about the energies that are operating not only in the world, but for you and your connection with the world and in the spiritual environment that we're in. Let's call it that. And I know that we're in a time with these, I said the cacophony of energies. It has to do with the old being, you say shattered, but it's all, being dissolved away and being dissolved and falling away and the new coming in. And we're going through waves of this. And it just seems to be the things that not only June, my mentor that I knew for years and years and years, but also what Jim McKimmey or Dr. McKimmey talked about when the times were coming in, and we're in them. We're in them right now. So that makes perfect sense. And the violet flame of transmutation is a wonderful thing that we can use for ourselves. And we can also use it to society to the extent that people are, we can help send it out or envision it and facilitate it to the extent that people are ready to receive it, because we all have free will. So I also was going to do is just echo that. I just think that's talking to you, and although I think it's very much appropriate and applies to many of us what we're all going through right now, because all of us are light workers, bringing in the light, connecting, letting go of the old. And we're not only doing that for ourselves, but we're doing it for the soul group and the planet. So I'm just going to echo what you said.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I was feeling, that even my dream, some of it was personal, but most of it was really for the collective.
Yeah. And then we're to do that. And that's what, there's so many wonderful people doing just a variety of spiritual work of all types and modalities, and all of it, that people that are bringing in the light is helping raise the frequency of the planet and bringing in those energies that everyone needs. And all of us are on a slightly different path, so we all have slightly different needs, but we also have common needs. And all of that, I believe, is being met right now. Although, if you look in the world, it looks like sometimes the things are in disarray, but that's the nature of change. And those who are not plugged into their spiritual path, they're getting pinged around a little bit right now, and that's what we see in society. So, yes, I think it has to do with bringing in the light, helping dissolve the old patterns so that everyone can be brought into whatever they're ready for now. That'll be unique for each person. Some people will be ready for a lot, some just a little, some may choose to have none. So
thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
All right. Let's go across here. Franny, anything to share, anything to ask, or both?
Could you come back to me? I'm just kind of dropping in.
Okay, sure. All right. Paula,
Thank you.
do you have anything to share, to ask, or both?
Yeah, hi everybody. So good to see everybody. I don't have really a question tonight. It's interesting. It seems like the last couple weeks have been just such a lovely, calm, very easygoing, energetic, that when you were stating that about, what you were seeing go on, it really resonated. So I'm really enjoying it. And I would just say that the work I've been doing on myself, for myself, seems like the new energetics are really allowing it to move through quickly and release the things that, that I've been wanting to release. And I'm just very grateful that the new energies are really helping bolster that. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you. And you have, as we talked about last time, and I think maybe during the last monthly meditation, that you're really ready for this. This is a time specifically for you. And you said the calm energies. I'm going to say these just the energies of a soothing nature. They're transformative, but they're soothing and calm. They're not as, maybe I want to use the word chaotic, but not as they're smoother than they have been in the past because you're ready for that, and you're going through a layer of bringing in some new things, letting go of some things, and you're going to be moving into, as I think we talked about before, another one coming in fairly soon, next couple months. But it seems to be gentle and calm right now, and I think it feels like that is not only something you really desire, but it's also something you're ready for, and more to follow, and more, I think, expansion for you as time goes on, because you're ready for another layer of level of we kind of balloon out, and then we grow into it, and we integrate what we ballooned into, and then we're ready to balloon out again, and that's what's coming in for you. You have another, you're out here, and now you're going to go out some more in the next few months, and that seems to be a good thing. And the only, if there's any caveat I would put, and we use the word caveat, is that as you expand, those around you are going to have the experience of it as well, and that those connections you have with others, will be affected.
Yeah.
It's not a negative thing. It's just they're going to have to get used to the growing Paula.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that every bit of that resonated as such a nice truth. And I guess right now I'm just enjoying the blissful nature of it all.
Isn't that wonderful when that happens?
Yeah.
I've, when we have periods of this, like, yes, can we have that forever? But, we go through our phases and they're all good for us. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to jump around a little bit. I'm going to go to Hawaii. So how are you doing, Marci?
Sure. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. I am at this very moment doing really well. I actually wrote something down because I had a feeling I'd probably go blank as soon as I got on here, which I kind of did. Yeah, mostly I'm not forgetting. I'm not holding on to stuff. I'm not remembering a lot of stuff, and I like it. I like it a lot. But some of it's like, like cool stuff. Oh, it would be so cool to share this and that, and it just goes and goes and goes. So I enjoy it because it's like a free, like a kid-like thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you just don't hang on to it. One thing I do remember, a lot of times at night, I'm feeling the energy moving through, and it's that kind of feeling like a train is going through your body.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And it'll get up, like up around my heart level, and I'll be like, come on, keep going. And then it just, no matter what, it'll kind of fizzle and not really go full out. And so that's been the curiosity to some extent to see what's going to happen with that.
Well, and it just seems like it's going as it should be, and I'm still going to hold to what came through last time. It looks like you have, I don't want to call it a decision, but you have, your path is you've got some choices, and they're coming up there, and it seems to have gotten, I won't say pushed out, but you're moving slower toward it, to give yourself at the inner level breathing room. But all this, what you talked about, where things just flow through and then they're gone, sometimes that's a real freeing thing. I agree with you.
Yeah. Oh, so it looks like it got pushed out a little. Is this stuff is all like on a higher dimension where these decisions are made? Well,
there are many levels, and that was one of the things that I've been reminded of, is that we have, when we have a challenge in our life, it comes to us at many levels, and we may not even be aware of some of the levels in which, consciously at least, in which we are interacting with it. but we are making the decision at an inner level and usually many higher levels at the same time, because it's multi-leveled, whatever it is that's coming to us, even though we may not be consciously aware of that. And that is certainly true of you, and it's true of almost, I can't think of a time when someone isn't dealing with something or learning from it or interacting with the energies at multiple levels at once. It just is the nature of it, and that's happening with you. And it's giving you time for, I'm going to call it inner introspection. Your being, it's like it needs some time to process and just be and flow with things before moving on and making a choice of which one of these. It's kind of like general paths, directions, and within that, each one of those, there's a number of choices that can be made, and it's you're getting close to where you're going to choose that. But that, I'm not sure if it's being pushed out or if you're just slowing down your approach to it. It's kind of doesn't really make any difference. It's what does they say? A difference without a distinction. It's the same thing no matter which way, whether you're slowing down or whether it's been pushed out, it has the same effect. And it's giving you the time that your being really needs, your greater being really needs to process things further, to make a more finer, granular decision. In other words, taking in more facets of all the energies coming in, so that the decision you make can be more encompass, more holistically, what you're ready for next. Excuse me.
Okay. Yeah. And when you say that, I kind of think of the difference between riding the wave versus being the ocean.
Yeah, and it's kind of like you're both. You're riding the wave and are the ocean at the same time. We all are, but you're very much actively interacting that way. You're kind of doing both right now, and it seems to serve. I don't have a better way of saying it right now, but it serves the many faceted purposes of your path for you to do that right now, more so than you have in the past.
Okay.
And you're doing it naturally. Go ahead, please continue.
No, that's yeah, because it's not a conscious, I'm gonna choose, or it's not that. It's just staying with the flow as much as possible. And I do agree with Paula was saying, though. It seems like the energies are smoother right now.
Yeah.
Even though there's the weirdness going on, but that's always how it looks to me. But it's definitely smoother.
And it's a matter of what we're ready for. I'm seeing that there's all these other energies out there, and a lot of us aren't even going to be, it's not part of our path to even interact with them. But I wanted to bring it up to make people aware that if you're seeing it out there, if you're seeing it affect other people, the word is a cacophony, just a whole bunch of different types of energies, a mix of them, and whatever threads that each of us is on our own path, and we're going to interact and bring in and ride that level of energies that are associated with our path, and we may not even have any awareness of the others. So if you're having the smoothness, that's wonderful, but there are a whole bunch of these energies out there, and I'm becoming aware of them in the last couple of weeks, and I just thought I'd bring it up. But I'm glad to hear that things are going smoothly for you.
It is. It's got, it's still got the mixed in, like the flavor of today is I've done something wrong, and there's nothing going on, but it's that feeling like, oh, I did something wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's coming from, but I mean, it's obviously in the system here in this body somewhere, because I'm feeling it. So anyway.
And sometimes.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you. And I was going to say, when you're feeling like you did something wrong, this morning I was at work and just standing there monitoring the self-checkout, and which isn't really exciting unless people are there. Not a lot. I had this feeling and it was just a little bit of something wrong, uneasiness, and I realized I'm picking up. I was aware of the energies of others, and I was to be aware of that, and not if it's appropriate for us to be aware of it, we will, and if it's not, we won't. But I was aware of it, and that's when I was shown the cacophony again. I was like, okay, there it is, and where for me to be aware of it because I interact with people all the time in as a cashier, and they don't recognize my whole purpose in being there is my spiritual path, but they don't know that. They just think I'm a cashier, so that's fine. But it's a real opportunity to see things that I otherwise would not see, and I think a little bit of that happened to you. You just have these energies coming in, and you're definitely aware of them. I'm not sure if it's like something within you, but it's an awareness within you of that something isn't right or wrong, however you would say it.
Yeah.
Marci, I feel like it's an aspect of you.
Could be.
That it's not you personally, the Marci timeline, but it's another aspect that you're feeling. So
Okay.
how that feels for you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I definitely notice it, and it's like, but it's a funny thing because nothing's happened, and you know what I mean? There was like no reason for it. It's just that feeling, so yeah.
I can say for myself, Marci, that when I'm experiencing those things come up and there's really nothing in my outer world, it's usually an aspect. That started coming a few years ago because I'd be like, well, what is this? And then I'd start having these realizations. It's not me, it's another aspect of me that's feeling that way or having those thoughts. And then when I was able to go, oh, okay, then it would kind of fall away, But when I kind of thought that it was something me, like right now, then you have a tendency to kind of grab onto it more. So
Right,
you think it's like an aspect of you, which is really kind of like a cousin, or it's because it's not you in that moment. Then there's a little bit more distance, and then you can kind of go, oh, okay, and you can have that compassion and kind of assist that aspect, and then it doesn't have power over you, or if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. And it's almost just like it just needed to come to the surface to be acknowledged, or
right,
something to that effect, maybe.
Yeah.
Perfect. And funny, I love the way you said cousin, because my cousin is here visiting right now. So that was like a little, what do you call it? A snag. It caught my attention. So I love it.
And maybe it's also your cousin too that feels that way.
Maybe.
Thank you, Lisa. That's great. See there, you got different facets of it. And our different aspects also interact with the different energies that are out there too. So anyway, all the different perspectives, and that's what I love when we all get together, because each of us picks up on things that the other does not. So wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Lisa, since you jumped in there, what do you have to share, to ask, or both? I'd love to hear it.
Well, I would have to say the energies haven't been real calm and gentle for me.
Everybody's yeah.
I'm missing the boat on that one. It's been pretty intense. It's just revved up again, and my sleeping patterns are all wonky again. I'm not sleeping as much or waking up like 5 times a night. So it's kind of a lot of stuff's happening. I had what I wanted to share is I had 2 really lucid dreams, and it was right after I talked to you, Jeff, and they were almost not 2 days in a row, but there was a 1 day in between. So I had a lucid dream on Friday and then again on Sunday. And normally when I have a lucid dream, I don't have another one for a long time, So when I do have one, it's like I get super excited. But when I had them so close to that, it really felt like in the first dream, and they definitely feel different because I dream every night
Mhm.
and I recall a lot of the dreams, but these feel as if I'm right there experiencing it like I'm experiencing in this life, in this, timeline. And the energy feels so real that I'm really there. And this first dream that I had at the end of it, I was in this water, this pool of water, and like I saw, as if I was kind of looking down on my body, I saw my whole body light up like in this white intense light completely. And I went into this extreme bliss, and it was so strong that it woke me up, and then I was feeling it here in this awakened state. And then it's like this lightness that I was experiencing like I haven't really felt before. And then my whole day, I just was in that energy, and I was able to just stay in that lightness and that expansion. And then I had another dream, and it was a little bit different, but again, it was like feeling as if I was right there, and I was working with some people, and there were different dynamics going on. But it felt like I had some kind of a breakthrough. I felt like this is what it's going to be like when the heavens cross thing, when this really opens up for me, is I'm going to be able to experience this and be able, the thing is being able to bring that energy back and the remembrance and to experience it here versus kind of where you forget a lot of the dreams or they get misinterpreted because the mind can't get it. But it felt like this was going to be, at some point, this would be the norm. This is how it would be all the time. But then, then it stopped, and then more stuff happened. So I guess my question for you, Jeff, after the long story is, was that some huge breakthrough that I had that I worked through? And then is it kind of like a preview of what's coming? Because that's kind of what it felt like.
Well, I'm going to say it's not exactly, but I'm going to say yes, it's a breakthrough, because lucid dreams have to do with being in contact with the innermost aspects and parts of our being in a clear, fluid manner. And you've been growing into this for a while, so that's why it's not exactly a breakthrough. But all of a sudden, enough of the scale tips, and all of a sudden it seems like it's all happened at once, but it really has been going on, and it's part of all the different things you've been doing and the energies you're connecting with. And the ones that you call of heaven's cross, those are the energies that are out there that are also that you're interacting with. So yes, it's a connection, and sometimes it's going to be a bit more so than others, but right now it's illuminating it for you because you're moving into it, growing into it, and then into these energies. This lucidness is called this inner fluidity of connection. And then it's going to integrate and it'll change a little bit, but it's there. So my answer is yes, it's a breakthrough. Yes, it's going to be more like what it's going to be for you as you continue to grow, because this is your growth. But it's also going to change a little bit as it integrates. So if it changes and you feel like, oh man, it's going away or something, or it's not quite right, no, it's just fine. It's just, you know how it is when you get the initial event, and it's like, wow. And then as it integrates, it brings in other facets of things. And sometimes it seems like it's a little less, but reality is actually more. And that's what you're moving into. Definitely moving into more, because this is part of what you are ready for in this life. And this is the time right now in the world with the energies that's helping bolster that, support it, the growth that for those who are ready to move into the next level. And that's what you are doing. So that's my short answer to your question. I'm trying to keep my answer is not too detailed, but yes, you have so many things happening, but that's the high level overview, and it's really what you've been seeking. Although there's facets of it that go beyond your present knowing, and just so you know, your guides want to keep it that way for right now. You're going to move into some of the stuff that's coming in. They don't want to distract what you're learning you're doing now. They'll tell you more when you're ready. This next phase or the next wave of things coming in.
Okay.
So yes, that's my short answer. Yes, it's a breakthrough.
So one quick question with that, because when you have those big expansive experiences, and then it's almost like after some time passes, it kind of, I don't know, you feel a little deflated, or, because it's not there anymore. But so the question did I have some doubt come in that kind of started to shut some stuff down? Because Saint Germain's been talking to us about that now we're going to have to deal with the doubt. He says that's the big thing that's coming up for you, and it's time where you have to really let all of it go, and it's self-generated, created, so it's not coming from somebody else, it's what we've created, and it's been like that crutch, but it's like the big thing, he says, that's keeping us from really going for it. He's like, you have to release that in order. He says, otherwise it will tear you up. So I just wondered when I had that, because he says when you have that big experience, then the next thing that comes in a lot of times is the doubt.
Can I call it, you can call it doubt, and it is kind of doubt, but it really isn't doubt. And I'm going to call it what that is we just, and I'll use another way, as I said, you have the initial experience, and then you start integrating all these more things that are going to be coming in, and it seems different. And what's going to get integrated are what are being brought in. What you are referring to as doubt, what they're showing me is the unintegrated aspects, and it's because they're not quite there yet. So it feels like doubt, but it's really just bringing in these facets and aspects and levels, however you want to think of it, to integrate into this new growth. So is it doubt? I guess you can call it that, but yes, it is for you to bring it in, to integrate it in and release. You say release. Have it become part of that which you are becoming. So if you see, if you can call it, so if you want, think of it as doubt. If that works for you, fine. But I don't see it as doubt. Although there are some little threads of doubt. There are some of those. There's a couple of them. But mainly what I'm seeing is just these. As this is now getting in place, and you've had this initial experience, now it's going to bring in all these other facets, because you need to integrate all of that into you as you move further out and up. So I guess I'm going to say yes. If that is what you're doing, you are releasing the doubt, or if you want to think of it another way, you're integrating those parts that aren't that need to be brought into this experience.
Okay.
I'm lacking for words, the way of explaining it, but I'm just going to call it this, that which is not integrated yet. It can feel like a doubt because it doesn't know anything about it, yet as it gets brought in, it's going to dissolve the old patterns that they were, and bringing them into, and actually evolve them into what you're becoming, into your growth. So I'm going to say it's all good.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jeff. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And thank you for sharing that. It's wonderful. And we really are moving in. It's always amazing to me. I was telling Deborah just the other day, I said, we're moving it. When I thought it couldn't go faster, it does. It moves up and up and up. And it has to do it in a way that can bring us our own individual growth, which dovetails into and I'm going to say, loosely saying, what's happening with the soul group. The energies that are coming in to support the soul group growth, we have integrated and dovetailed into our own life plans, so that we can utilize those same energies for our own personal growth, which may not be exactly what the soul group is going through, but it's certainly, we can leapfrog off of it and move up. And that's what each person, everyone here and others who aren't here are doing. The light workers and the spiritual people on the committed spiritual path, they're really accelerating this growth in their own life, and then integrating and bringing that into the collective to help everyone. So that's what you're doing as well. I don't know why I said all this, but anyway, you're doing that. And it's also and this is your high self wants me to share this with you, is she wants to assure you this is part of what you've been seeking, part of your growing. It's all a big part, but what you're doing right now is a very integral part of it, and it's going to move into even more things as you would expect. So I don't know why I said all that, but that's what came through.
Thank you. That was
You're
great.
welcome. Okay, Franny, do you have anything to share now, or ask, or both?
Sure. It's great to be here and see everybody. So makes me feel really good. Yeah, I had a rough start to my week, but I'm definitely feeling lighter and brighter. And I was just really, really tired earlier on. And I feel the increasing daylight, like it just has a phenomenal impact on me. Just a little bit of light goes a long way. And I feel like my whole metabolism revs up. So I'm loving that. I also, I'm going to be going to Hawaii at the end of the month.
All
So I'm
right.
real excited about that. And, starting to think about some of the logistical details. So I can't wait because I'm really, really tired of the cold. Like if it's below about 20, I don't do very well. Down to 20, I can sort of be okay. But when we get into the single digits, it's just hard. It's a challenge. So I've got a situation next week, and it's a court case about for a little boy. It's a termination of parental rights hearing, and I've been subpoenaed and asked to testify. And there'll be 4 attorneys there, and I'll be cross-examined. And I've never been on a witness stand. I've been in court before, but I've never had to testify. So on the one hand, this is absolutely, I'll just say that it's scary. It's really scary for me. On the other hand, there were a couple of ways that it fell into place that I feel like it's all lining up for me, that it's part of my growing edge, and that it's something that there are some lessons here for me. I don't know what they are yet, but I was really trying to sidestep, and I sent a report and I'm not available, all this stuff to try to get out of it. And the attorney went ahead and sent in the subpoena anyway. And she's got me on the agenda, and it came out to be the one time of that day that I could actually be free to speak with them. So I guess my question is, do you have anything to share about the best ways for me to release fear surrounding this? Because it's almost like I'm kind of bipolar with it. And, my lower self wants to launch into hours and hours of preparation and trying to predict. I've got a list of questions one attorney's going to ask, but I know I need to be prepared for other questions too. But I'm on the one hand, I feel like I'm being led to do this, and it's a good thing for this little boy. On the other hand, I'm pretty nervous about it. So I guess my question is, what can you say? What can you say that would help me release that fear, or go into this feeling strong and confident that it all lines up with my path, and the universe is there to support me, and it's all going to be okay?
Okay. Boy, the word that
I hope
got
it's going to be okay.
when you were talking, your lower self, the word was it's terrified. It was the word that I got for it. It was kind of concerned. But what this is real. It's going to be intense. They want you to know that. The universe wants you to know that, and your higher guidance. And I think Lisa may have something to share too. I'm not sure. I won't put words in her mouth. If anyone has anything to share, please do. But I feel like speak your truth. Know that it's going to be intense, and you can, yes, review the questions, but it's in the moment, and attorneys are experts at looking at the questions and the answers you give, and then try to change them, and just speak your truth and just say, this is what, where you are, what the situation is, what's best for the boy. And if they try to change it, you just have to keep the context of what you meant and not be concerned. Don't beat up on yourself if you find you said something that they purposely twisted, or that happens a little bit, because both sides are going to try to, obviously do this, but I'm getting it's going to be intense for you. It is part of your growth, and it really is in the boy's best interest. It's for his highest good that you speak the truth of what is best for him as best you can, and know that they're going to do whatever they want to do with the information. That's what lawyers do. That's kind of what they want you to know. And I don't want to sugarcoat this for you. That is going to be a bit of what you're going to you're going to run into. It could go anywhere from, there's all kinds of ways they're showing me that it can go, different depending on what happens. It could be anywhere from, I don't think it'll be softer intense to medium intense to higher intensity. I think it's going to probably be somewhere to soft to the middle, with a little few points of, with some higher intensity. But don't, what's important is that you're not taking this upon yourself. You're just speaking your truth, and they can infer anything they want, and try not to make it feel like that you are not saying it correctly, because you are. You will say it as best you can, and they may, again, lawyers can sometimes try to change what you're saying. Well, do you mean this? And you can just, just speak your truth. No, if they say, do you mean this over here? Say, well, no, not exactly. Or yes, that is what I mean, whatever. Just restate what it is, and just explain that that's your perspective and what your thoughts are. But try to keep it straightforward as you can. And, not let yourself get into, leads you into hypotheticals and things like that. Does that make sense? You need to be aware that it will be intensity, but what's important is that you can be able to speak your truth in these situations. And this ties to, part of why it ties to your growth, is it ties to some of the intensity that you've had that have to do with some of the things that you're working on that you are to be releasing. And being in this environment and being able to do your very best, even if it, our conscious mind may say, well, I wish I would have said it a little bit differently, but just say it as best you can with an open heart and lovingly, and what's best for the boy. And that will, in the end, that will serve his best good. And the court will make the decision. But that's what I would have to say, is that you're speaking the truth of what's his highest good in the best way you can, is going to help them make, I'm going to say, the best decision they can. Mm-hmm. Which may not be exactly what you want, but it will be something that it's just the nature of that proceeding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does anyone else have anything to share? Because everyone's going to pick up on different facets, and if you have something else to share, please do.
Okay. Hey, Franny, I think everything's going to be okay. It feels like it's all going to be good.
I think so too.
And I think we're helping you right now, because my body is going nuts clearing stuff.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Marci. I want you to know it's going to be intense, but yeah, it's going to be okay. I just think it's, no matter how the conscious mind may process it, like, oh, I wish I said it this way or that way. As you speak your truth, and with the highest good and the loving intent that you have for his highest good, is saying that as best you can, and not, just, they're going to try to they may try to misconstrue or try to change things a little bit. But if you speak it as plainly as you can and just say, that's what I mean, it will be for the highest good. And I think it will serve his, the best decision will come out of it that can, given the proceeding. I'm going to say it because it has to do with the legal processes that are there as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Franny,
Yes.
what came to me was that if you, because you come from your heart space, not your head space,
Yeah.
that will be, you know, when you set your intention to just come from your heart, then it will all work. It's going to work out fine. But also it feels like the fear is coming up because of our 3D side of us wanting to kind of start questioning ahead of time. But if you come from your heart with your intention, it's going to be fine.
Yeah. And I would say that's right. That's a good way. Thank you, Paula. Say coming from your heart with your, you know, your loving intention. That's a better way of saying it, from your heart. Because if we move into our head space, then we start, you know, letting our left brain try to do things. You're just speaking the truth and what's our highest good. And again, from your heart. They're going to do whatever they do, but you will have spoken what's the best. So thank you, both of you. Does anyone else have anything to share? I think it's very helpful for all the different perspectives to come forth.
Yeah, Franny, so as you were talking about it, what I saw was just this pure white light, this column that is you in that courtroom. And it's that energy, that purity and that truth that is needed in that room to affect everybody. So you're not going to do it wrong, because you're going to come into that higher part of your beingness, and that's just going to emanate, and people can perceive it however they want. You can't control that, but because of you being there and emanating that light, it's really going to be necessary, and it's going to do a lot of healing for a lot of different things, dynamics there. The fear I see is also a past life that's lit up when you were in a court situation and persecuted, and you were just trying to speak your truth, but things got twisted and turned, and then the next thing you know, you're being persecuted. So that's the intense fear that's coming up. So if you can just acknowledge that that's another part of you, another aspect, another past life, this life isn't going to go that way.
Yeah.
And that's actually going to help that other lifetime as you stand in the master that you are, because in that other lifetime, you weren't in that space yet. So there's a lot of dynamics. This is so powerful of what's going to happen by you doing this. As Jeff said, it's for your growth, and there's a lot that's going to happen. So.
Oh, thank you I wasn't going to bring that up, the life, but I'm glad you did. You were at a witch trial. That's what that was. It was a Salem type witch trial. You already knew that, didn't you, Lisa? And I didn't want to bring it up, but that's what exactly, speaking your truth. That's why, again, reiterate what everyone else said. They're going to do whatever they're going to do, but when you speak your truth, and as Paula said, from the heart, and as Marci said, it's going to be, just speak your truth. And in doing so, as Lisa said, because there was no way to win that trial back in a past life, but being in this intense situation, speaking your truth is going to help free you from that life. It's going to help dissolve that. And as Lisa's shaking her head, that's exactly what it's part. So it serves to help you, but it's also, you are doing such a gift of the divine for this boy. And it's going to happen. One thing that I got as Lisa was speaking was I was shown that, and actually after all of you, and I'm becoming aware of it because I'm processing it right now, is that in the moment when you speak and after the proceeding is over, it's going to have an effect, an ongoing effect afterward. It's going to continue to have an effect. It's going to permeate them, and whatever their initial thoughts might be, in the positive direction, it's going to permeate some more, and it's going to work on them some more in a positive, uplifting way. that they're not even aware of, as you alluded to, all of you alluded to. So yes, just know it's going to be intense, though. Yeah. It could be a little to a lot, but yeah, you're going to do fine.
Thank you. This is helping a lot. Like there is so much intense fear and I can feel it clearing and releasing, and it's validating. I knew there was a past life where I had been killed for speaking, and I didn't know what that was about, but just being able to name that somehow is beginning to allow me to approach it differently.
Yeah. And in that one life, you kept trying to speak your truth and try to convince them, somehow thinking they were going to listen. They had no intentions of listening. None. They already had the verdict in mind when they did it. And the lawyers are going to be kind of similarly in this situation. I mean, they're not bad people, but they're going to be looking from things from their own perspectives. And the only thing that you can do is, as Paula did and Marci and Lisa, speak from the heart, speak your truth. You got the light coming in, and let that, just say it as best you can. You just know the divine is going to use you as an instrument in a vessel to flood them all with the energies, and that'll keep working on them and dissolving their own prejudices long after the proceeding is over.
Okay.
Thank you all. This is so wonderful because everyone each of us picks up on a facet. We all have shared things that we all see together. We all see certain things, but each of us picks up on things, and that's where it's so helpful when we can, share with one another. And thank you all for doing that for Franny here.
Jeff,
And also, Franny, I hear the little boy really thanking you.
Yeah, and this is really he is grateful. Yeah, you're right. Thank you, Marci. He is very grateful. His inner being knows what's coming up. And I don't know that he's had that so much before. I don't know that he's had that in the way that he's going to get. You're speaking what needs to be said.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And
well, thank you all for that.
Yeah, and I want to share something. It just came to me to share, and this is, I think, akin to this, because when we connect on faith and we just do what we know we need to do, things continue to happen beyond our knowing, like we just said was going to happen. And when I was on board ship, my last ship, I was supposed to transfer, and then the events of the world happened back in New York City back in 2001. And they're going to hold me there. And all the regulations said they shouldn't hold me there, and that there was no way to happen. And I spoke my truth, and I called the person who cuts my orders, and he said, initially he had said, "Oh no, that's it. You're going to just have to stay there." And I said, "Oh my goodness gracious!" I was very unhappy. I was distraught at the time. And then I just said, I'm going to trust the divine. I'm just going to just speak my truth and do those things. And unbeknownst to me, the very next day, this just goes to show you what can happen, how the divine can use us as vessels and instruments of higher purpose. Next thing I know, those energies must have worked on this guy, because the next day he says, "You know what? You can't." He completely did a 180. He says, "No, you can't keep me there on the ship. Got him to let him go." So just know that whatever happens in the moment in the courtroom, so much more is going to happen thereafter. And that's what happened to me. That reminded me. It was a reminder that what happened in the moment, I thought at the moment I was going to be stuck on the ship, and I thought it wasn't going to go the way I thought. And so as in the courtroom, if you speak your truth, just know, however it looks, it's going to be so much more positive in the longer term than you might expect, than we know. So, yeah.
Jeff, I have one more question, and I can't remember how this started, but I had been thinking as I look toward the future and retirement that I might want to go to Tennessee where my nephew and his wife and kids are, but I've revised that, and I went on a trip last fall to Virginia, and I love Virginia. I love the mountains. The trees are like old friends. And I got some information about my old neighborhood, a neighborhood that I used to live in. And I woke up thinking that I should contact the people there and ask them if there's any land for sale, like just a little bit that I could put a little cabin on. And I guess, you know, as I'm speaking, my question was going to be, is this just a random thought, or is this something that I should pursue? And I'm not going to do this I'm not going to move within the next year or two, but at some point, I would like to spend more time on that side of the country, or go back and forth, because I have so many family members back there.
My short answer is going to be, it is one of the possibilities for you, depending on how the unfoldment in your life goes, how other decisions make as time goes on. But it is a possibility for you. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's something that is beneficial for you to explore. So that would be my answer. And could it happen? Yes. But there's other possibilities that are also going to start that you're already aware of. And I think there's a couple, 2 or 3 more that might be coming into your consciousness as time goes on, of other opportunities of a similar nature to where it really resonates with you.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, yes, a possibility.
Thank you.
Wow. Well, I don't have much more to share tonight, other than what I'm really aware of is just how fast things are moving. I've had some really powerful dreams of late, that are dealing. In fact, I recorded them, and whenever I have dreams now, I use Zoom to record them so I can go back and just talk about them. And I think that's an important thing for us to do from time to time. But I'm aware of just how the intensity of what's coming in, and for, you know, as each of us is ready, the energies are there for us to grow, and all we have to do is say yes to them, and of course, whatever is in part of our life path. But we are in just such wonderful times. I as you know, I've written about it in several posts and a couple of videos. I truly believe we are in a spiritual renaissance that hasn't been available to people for so long. It's not quite Atlantis by any means. The intensity of the energy is there, but what we have now, what we can do now in a weekend in a seminar, took years back in the 1970s when I first started. It took forever to get to, it seemed like months to learn how to do a discipline to get into the theta state. Now people are going to the theta state right off the bat. We are in such elevated times and intensity, and everyone here is really availing themselves. I mean, you're on the accelerated path of mastership and mastery, and wow, I'm just so grateful that we can be together like we are in these times, and sharing and helping each other. And when we do, we're growing, even just being here in this forum. Energies are coming in from all of us, through each one of us, for everyone present, that's accelerating our growth. Even in this short period, things are happening right now. And it's just absolutely wonderful, and just makes my heart sing that we are able to be together like this. So thank you all for being here.
Oh, yeah, I echo that too, Jeff. Thank you. And I kept hearing as you were speaking that now is the time of our mastery. And that's what we've each wanted to come out here and take care of. So in this lifetime, and we've been given the opportunity, and just how blessed we are to have such a loving group to share it with.
Yeah, and everyone here, and we've talked about it individually, and I've talked about it collectively, and I little term that I use, everyone that's on this call and others, and lots of us that aren't here right now, this is the lifetime where we wrap it up in a bow. It means all that phase that we were in over many lifetimes, all that, we're finishing that up, moving to this new level, and we are moving to it. I mean, everyone's anchoring to this, however you think of it, this higher dimension, this new earth. You talk about different facets of it. Heaven's Cross is definitely part of that. But all of this, everyone here is on the path of mastery. You have the frequency for those who, for those who are at this seminar. Each of you has the signature there, and it'll continue to grow and accelerate things for each of us. But as we wrap it up in a bow, by the end of this life, what that means is different people are going to have different things that we want to do, but each of you is choosing to do that. And then it's really allowing you to move into that next, if you decide to have another lifetime. Some of you, I think, are going to be coming into the time that Kay was recruiting everybody for in the late 2700s, early 2800s, where illuminated people are going to needed to come in because the earth is going to be at another critical time of growth, and all of the people are going to be needed to help foster that growth and bring in the light, and they're going to, everyone who chooses to come into that life will be illuminated and enlightened. And you will know about all your different lifetimes. You'll know about this lifetime, and it'll be an opportunity to really give back, be a servant unto the divine, and coming back in full mastery if one chooses. But everyone here is really wrapping things up in a bow in this lifetime, wrapping up that whole entire phase of before, all the way back to Atlantis and before, and moving into the next, era of your life, the next epoch, however you think of it, but that's what everyone here is doing, each in your own way. And it's just so awesome as we talk individually, just to hear all the things that are happening. So just again, thank you all for being here and sharing yourselves and your gifts and your hearts with everyone. So again, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, and so I'm just going to go around. Any final closing thoughts, comments, questions, anything at all? I'll start with Pat. Pat, do you have anything?
No, I just want to thank everybody for being here and being part of our spiritual family, helping each other.
Yeah.
Love you all.
Yes, thank you, Pat. Franny, anything? Any closing thoughts, comments, questions, anything at all?
This was a very intense moment or session for me, and I just want to say thank you to everybody. Everybody contributed something, and I can feel the energy moving through. So I'm eternally grateful.
Yes. Well, thank you. Lisa, do you have anything to share, to ask, to anything at all?
Oh, it's just been so wonderful. So thank you, everyone. I don't know if I think you can talk. Maybe you can't right at this moment, Jeff, but could you talk a little bit about what it is when you come into the oneness of yourself, or becoming the unified being, as you call it?
I can, and part of what wrapping it up in a bow has to do with, I'm going to tie this in, is each of you, especially for those who went through the Becoming a Master seminar, the divine, your master guide, plus having the master signature is part of this. You've already begun to accelerate that process of becoming that. And when in time, when it's appropriate, because I think that pretty much happens. Oh boy, I'm going to kind of waffle on this a little bit, but when we're done with our lives, or our terrestrial lives in universes, when we're done and we've moved on to the higher realms. but we all become this unified soul, and we are really living in our God self. We are really living in a unified, we are as like an Elohim being, one of them. We're living in that kind of unified state of being. I don't know how to describe it other than you're really operating from your God consciousness. You're operating from that, and everything else has fallen away. You're done with it. And some people could do it sooner, some of you, but have chosen not to because of choosing to do other, say, work in between lives and possibly the next in that lifetime I talked about in service to the divine. It's like that parable that Jesus talked about, the lost sheep. We leave the other 99 behind, and he waits at the gate until all the sheep have come by, have come in, and then chooses to move on. And that's what some of you are going to do. So I can't answer it more. I guess maybe one-on-one we could have a conversation, but just in this, it's a unified God state. All the lives, we realize all that has fallen away, and we're living in that unified state of our being in connection with the divine from our God self. As it said in the Old Testament, each of us are gods, but like of a pantheon, but it's like the Elohim living in that divine state. So that's all I can say right now. Probably if we get some chance to process this some more, we can probably talk at some point one-on-one and go into greater depth. But some of you are choosing to, I don't want to say delay because that's not quite right. You're choosing to do other things first before choosing to move into that higher state of unified, where all the different aspects are brought back into the unified soul. And then you're made whole again. And it's when that happens, beings like that, at least some of them that I've talked to that did the higher realms, they don't come back down here. They don't, once they've moved up there, they're done with these lower octaves. Not that they couldn't come down, but their work is up at the higher levels. So that's what a lot of you are, we're all moving toward, but some of you are going to wait a while before doing that. So I'm going to say it that way. And Lisa, you are one of them. Yes. So if you were wondering of why I was my elongated explanation, yeah, you're one of them. So that's what you're doing.
I thought so. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Paula, anything?
No, I guess all I would say is I kept hearing service over self.
Yes.
So thank you, everyone.
Yes. Oh, and boy, your high self really, oh man, I'm glad you said that. Your high self said she's very glad you just said that, because that is part of what you are doing. In a big way that you don't even know yet. So I'm leaving it at that.
Oh yeah, thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad you said that. It's like the minute you said that, I got this boom from your high self, like, and from the divine through your high self. I was like, holy smokes, that's what you're doing, and you're doing it this much now, and this much now, however much you want to say it, and there's going to be a whole lot more as time goes on and you grow into it. So awesome. So thank you.
What a blessing to hear that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Marci, anything to share? Questions? Anything at all? Are you there, Marci? Okay, well, maybe not. Anyway, well, thank you all. It was what a wonderful time to, this is just a delight of my month, just being together with all of you. And until next time, next month, I'll see you then. And we'll probably, for many of you, we'll see you in between time. Deborah's going to have a sound shower next Saturday for those that are in the area. 1 to 3, I believe it is now. And I will be there. And so I'm excited about that. But we'll see you next month. And if we have conversations in between, I look forward to it. So blessings and light and love to all of you. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now.
Thank you, Jeff.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Love
Great.
you all.
Bye.
Love you.
Bye.